Hello, and what is going on, you guys? Hyperion-Blue-GT here. Let's get ready to go for round 3 in season 2 of the 2022 series in the Gran Turismo World Series Manufacturers Cup on Gran Turismo 7. For today's round 3, we're taking on to be in the B course layout of Sardegna rail track for the Group 3 category is about to get ready to go. On the event schedule for the recap from round 2 at high speed ring for the second time ever since from the test season to be on the ring. Last week it's going to become much more twilight to be on the headlights will be turned on for every Group 4 race car because it's going to get much more beautiful and much to be realistic to be take place to be on the early night. But right now, currently to be moving on in the third round by August 27 before at the end of the month. But also to have the 3-day weekend is now yet to be featured because of round 7 of Toyota Gazoo Racing GT Cup for having a final round at the end of the 2022 series. So let's get in there and get ready to go to be participate by having available entry to be currently to be on one open lobby at a time. So the race info will be having 15 laps for the number of players up to 16, where the rolling start type will be going in for having 2 tires with using the hard and medium compound tires to be specified to be some requirement to be due as a mandatory. But it turns out to be doing some optional strategies, so for many players might have to go for the racing soft compound tires will have to do a main jump to take the first position to go on. But whenever it happens, because we have to make sure to stick it to the game plan to have some 2 tire compound to be labeled to be on the same required type. Category is going to be well checked for the Group 3. Wide body is going to be set to be prohibited along with nitrous. And also to have a kart restriction to be on the low speed for the BOP/tuning forbidden. It also turns out to become challenging and much more elevation, so we have to make sure to climb up and make your focus to be on the top 3 position. So I'm all set and good to go because gonna have to do a lot of practice and BOP check to be well eligibility to enter and do some more skills to be well progressed before we will join in session. But expect to be on the lookout before I proceed on to the next clip because of the 2 or 3 seconds glitch. I have to make sure to do this much more fine perfect or otherwise it'll have to take much more racing strategy during this part of the full segment video ever since from round 1 and 2 to be in the Manufacturers Cup in the second season. So let's get it on and get prepared in about 3 minutes 23 seconds until join in session to be in the lobby before doing a qualifier practice. As always, if you're new to my YouTube channel, go and click the subscribe button, then leave a like and comment at the session down below. Check out the links on the description if you want to see more, and don't forget to click the bell for notifications on upcoming content videos in the later future. Now it is time to get ready to start the race. Let's begin. First, it's going to get a very difficult challenge because of the tire wear goes on by having a multiplier by 10. By having 2 required tires go with the medium and hard racing compound tires, we'll have to do some main mandatory because as also for today's forecast, it's going to be a bright and sunny day with a temperature of 60.8 degrees Fahrenheit. In about 30 seconds, make sure to choose the best required strategy whenever you're comfortable with. Go with the medium or hard racing tires to be putting up to be in the first leg. And also to have the second leg depends on lap number 6 or lap number 9. The decision will be yet to be made, you guys, so it's going to get much more challenging and very brutal for only 15 laps. So here we go, folks. Time to start the race and get ourselves prepared to survive and everything while we can. Round 3 in Season 2 for the 2022 series Gran Turismo World Series Manufacturers Cup is about to begin. Now, let's go over the drivers and their Group 3 class will have to go settle in underway. First up, we have Sully in the Subaru BRZ GT300, Pete Rice in second place, Porsche 911, Neat Proxy in third place in Toyota GR Supra Racing Concept, AC in fourth place, AMG, Super Go Plata in the Dodge Viper SRT GT3R, Marek in 6th place. 7th place we have Isa Waxima in the Chevy Corvette C7 Group 3. PTY Octavio has arrived in 8th place. Here's myself in 9th place with Team UDRS Inspotech. Hayden in 10th place in the McLaren 650S GT3. Jock Motto in 11th place. Subaru, FIA Cayo in 12th place. Volkswagen, TC in 13th place. 14th place, Chris Whitmer in the Toyota GR Supra Racing Concept. Here we have Lee alive in position number 15 to be in the last position. So let's get set and go for the rolling start. Ever since we have participated for only 5 race entry because the final one is going to be the last resort. After spinning with some hard attempts and doing some tire changes to be on the one-stop pit strategy to be on the main requirement, we'll have to do some perfect way to be much more careful because it's going to get much more difficult and very brutal to have 15 laps around in the B-course track in Sardegna. So here we go folks, 3 seconds and go for the green light to have the third round will go underway. Let's see how the race will become much more succeed to take the risk. High stakes is going to get much more further out there to have some different tire compound whenever it takes to have that comfortable use. Going down onto turn number 1, pack it up and go acceleration to stay on to focus in turn number 2 and 3. There goes Isa Waxima in the Chevy Corvette C7 Group 3, takes position 7. Going in to take the lineup to have the first sector towards the end before moving down onto sector 2. Here it comes, the hairpin is going to get much more sharper and tighter out there to be down the hill onto the apex. Pack up the acceleration and keep up the mobility speed. Make sure whenever it happens that keep a good watchful eyes on the tire until it's about to get run out of grip. It will be slowed down or you'll have to be very more careful because other opponents might get in the way. So here comes the collision. Looks like we have Neat Proxy have left the lobby because that one might have some more cars coming in by enter sector 3. Team UDRS Inspotech has entered the crowded formation on a chase. Let's see how the struggle can actually have to take much more longer it takes. Coming in towards the final turn, looks like we have a pusher just gonna have to be ramming at Team Inspotech. So we have Sully presses on to be in lap number 2 by the fastest lap in 1 minute 24.4867 seconds. Several cars have already made it onto turn 1, no contact, and have some extra space to be on the gap. But it's going to get much more tighter and well gripped up to be on the handling. Acceleration is going to be the key and doing hard defense to have a watchful eye on the tire. Come on, just going to have to stay on track. Going to have to go hard on the offensive. Watch out for Joctaro in Subaru WRX Group 3 at position 8. Down the hill onto sector 2 by the entrance. You see you guys? This race is going to be a very tough stuck-up challenge by having some 10 times amount of tire wear. But the fuel is going to be doing much more less efficient. Oh boy, looks like it's FIA_Cayo in the Volkswagen. That might have a slight accident contact by Inspotech by mistake. I know this is going to be a very rough time out there to have this further notice. Just going to keep trying and go for doing the main focus towards the final turn. 15 drivers are standing because it'll have to take more than that until pressing on to be in lap number 3. Still in a long way to go and keep pressing up and gonna have to take much more push for every ongoing racers from the middle towards the back. Here we have PTY Octavio's lap time is 1 minute 20.670 seconds to be in the most fastest lap time to be achieved by doing a good excellent runner on time trial yet. but still gonna have to take some time and go for the rush. It'll have to take plenty more circumstances to be on racing strategy to go on the edge. For instance, hard racing compound tires will have to do a first pit stop at the end of lap number 9, and also for the medium compound tires to be at the end of lap number 6. So here comes TC and the Subaru WRX GT BRC GT300 is now moving on in position 9. There we go, TC is now going up the hill. Team Insportec will might have that opportunity to challenge a GT300 car for only a single Group 3 category race car to be step up and go right in. Come on, she's going to keep going hard left. The steering is all about having an issue. Don't get caught up or don't get psyched out. Almost barely had that chance for TC. You'll have to make sure to be very more careful for avoiding a penalty to be caught up by having a 0.5 second. Lap number 4, let's keep it up and keep going careful. Exercise caution while we can to have that tire to be on a certain amount of use. You'll never make it that time because strategy is all about keeping a good watchful eye on the tire if things might be going bad or worse. Well, exactly, I just barely took 4 times to be on the race entry without any recording. But this one might have to take that final chance to have the 3rd round in the 2nd season in the Manufacturers' Cup. Ever since to be on the surveillance check lookout for having some skipping parts for only 2 or 3 seconds by having a certain amount of time thanks to the video recording glitch. But I know how it happens because I'm just gonna have to go and restart and have a new one without any interruptions. On to the last minute, Sully is now going to have to take that hard push to stay defense to be in position 1. Pete Rice in 2nd place, and there goes Super Go-Go Plata in 3rd place in the Dodge Viper SRT GT3R to stay in the ropes, but currently to be entered to be at the bronze spot. So now it also comes in to have a very good watchful eye on any opponents whenever it happens to have that tire compound will be putting up to have the hard or medium between by the choices. Here comes lap number 9, 10 more to go remaining. And here comes PTY Ottavio is now climbing up and get back down onto 13th place by Lee in position 12. So it also comes in to see some certain racing events is going to become much more brutal and difficult for participate in the 2nd season in the Manufacturers' Cup. No idea how this race is going to be very tested, so we have to make sure to be very more watchful eye on the tires because the front and the rear is going to be doing some sides between the left and right. How far can it go? So let's find out and see. Whenever it takes, might have to go some certain events to have some struggle grip because it's going to get much more hesitation to see every racer might have to be much more concentrated to have some flying perfect advantage. There goes the 3rd sector and gonna have to keep passing through. Top 3 racers have already made it onto the straightaway towards the end of the 5th lap before enter to be at lap number 6. There goes TC in the Subaru BRC GT300, slows down and going enter to be on the right side of the track without enter the pit. Team Insportec presses on and go overtake in position number 9. Talk about having a perfect comeback moment and step up and go down onto turn 1 again. Halfway there onto the tire grip percentage and about 50% left. Gonna have to keep much more passive and go for having a hard going grip aggressive. There goes the contact. TC might need to be very more careful because Insportec is setting up onto the hazard lights because of the rear bumper damage. That's what happens because whenever running out of grip to be on the hard or medium compound tires, that should be having a major issue during the part of the 3rd round in the Manufacturers' Cup in the B-Course track of Sardegna real track. So it's just going to have to be very much more gentle, and TC is going back away by the end of Sector 2, while Insportec is going to have to take much more free space on the upper hand. Their sprint winner in the Toyota GR Supra Racing Concept is now proceed in position 10 along with PTY Octavio in position 11. And there goes Marek and Super Gogo Plata enter the pits by choosing different tire compound will be switched up and go directionally by the opposite. Here comes the 7th lap. Let's see how it goes, and going side by side between PTY Octavio and no wait, looks like it's Brit's winner in the Toyota. Oh man, there goes a contact. That's definitely might be a hard hurt for Team Insportec. Looks like that might have a penalty to be called in. Bummer, this race is going to be very much more brutal to see it. No one else didn't know what's happening because they might need to be very more careful in the future competition. Talk about frustration and going a competitive outrage. I mean seriously, this race might have to turn out to become a clean competitive until it turns out to become very more brutal. I know this race is going to be very much harder it is, but it's going to become very upset for every Gran Turismo players who really might need to take that chance to go up onto the top 5 position. But there goes Lee in position 9 in the Subaru WRX Group 3, passes on to Team Insportec by enter Sector 3. Take the hard left and go proceed as possible. Somehow this race is going to become as usual because ever since to be on the investigation check for only 3% times of fuel and 10 times amount of having some slight difficulties according to the issue. Maybe let's just gonna have a good check on the instant replay at the earlier start in lap number 7. See what I mean? This is what happens when you're in turn 1. Make sure just try to give some extra space for every Gran Turismo player who just really want to have a chance to go on. But I mean, in the meantime, because it's gonna have to take circumstances to see that racers who have that trouble between on the tires and the pressure strategy to be well going down to be on below percentage. But I mean, it's going to get harder and slighter as it goes because the hard compound tires on the right side is about to go depleted in about 25% remaining. Now looks like Marek and TC is in the scene. Gonna have to be much more careful and survive this. They are actually to become much more pretty aggressive. There goes AC in position 8 coming in. Heads up. Gonna have to let TC to go in. Moving on in 6th place. Team Insportec is about to go running out of steam to be on the right side of the tires in the hard compound category. Final turn we go. And there goes off the track for TC. Clean racing for Team Insportec. Gonna have to keep an eye out and go for the further distance until pressing on to be in lap number 9. So here it comes. Looks like running out of grip for the hard compound tires for Team UDRS Insportec. Marek in a Mercedes AMG GTR is now going for seed. And there goes AC in about 1.3 seconds remaining until Team Insportec is going to have to press on and go for Sector 2 after end of Sector 1. But here it comes. Looks like just going to have to let one AMG GT3 race car go first and take the outside. Alright, coming down onto 9th place. I bet this race is going to be much more intense. There we go. Looks like Hayden in the McLaren 650S GT3 did the right thing. Very much more respectful and going off the track by having a sand trap to be forced to slow down. Come on, just gonna have to keep it up and gonna have to be much more exercise caution to be well proceed. Hazard lights will be set to be on the left signal. I hope Hayden did the right thing to do the second time. In about 3 seconds for FIA_Kayo. Come on, just gonna have to see how the turns is gonna become much more brutal at this time. Alright, so looks like Signal just barely went something else to have some troubling moments. Enter the pits. No pit stop and refuel at this time because tire change only to see how the main strategy is going to have to do some requirement method without having a 1 minute penalty. So here is Sully to be on the last minute to be well checked up, and here's Giacomo in 3rd place from Chile. He did pretty good and going faster to stay ongoing along with P.Trice in position number 2. Come on, just gonna have to see how the race will have to go on, because going yet behind is definitely might have a very hard time for every racer by proceed in about 10 laps. Currently, only 5 more to go remaining. And there you have it. Sully is now entered the pits to be on the hard compound tires to be switched up and get prepared to be having one last stretch before entering to be at the end of the 10th lap before entered onto the 11th. There you go. Sully is now going back onto the lead to stay defense, and Isa Waxima moves on in position 2 along with Modric in 3rd place until P.Trice is now coming out at the pits to be going in to take the 3rd position by entering lap number 11. So here's Hayden's lap time, folks, according to the update to be on the fastest lap. 1 minute 20.390 seconds. Incredible. No matter how the difficult race turns out to become very challenging for every Group 3 racers to have this part of the fastest lap. Now let's get rolling out and press on to be entered in number 11. 4 more laps to go remaining, and 13th place for Team Insportec is going to be having a hard time for having a bad karma moment. Talk about having slowing down onto the tire grip is going to be doing a big issue for having some severe effects. I know this race is going to become very much more difficult according to the main strategy tip by putting up with some opposite effects. Gonna have to stay strong and keep it up. Stay behind in 13th place at the last is the sacrifice ever since from the test season at the West End session of Autodrome Lago Maggiore circuit. Come on, just gonna have to keep going. Looks like it's gonna have to do some 3 American racers to be entered right back onto the top 3 position. P.Trice is now currently to be dropped down onto 3rd place, while Isa Waxima in 2nd place for only 1 Corvette to take the spotlight to avenge Team UDRS Insportec's current outcome to have some dropping down position to take the last stand. I know this race is going to have to do some effort time moments to see that best Gran Turismo racers will have to take the attempted ways to survive. You'll have to make sure to see that one of them will have to take the finish line at the end of the 3rd round before at the end of the day. But also for having a very good news moment since we're racing at Sardegna. We're going in to take on in the windmills before tomorrow after the road track is going to have to do some bit brutal difficult race. In about 9.8 seconds remaining to Giacomo in 12th place from Chile. Team Insportec is going to have to do some hard time with the tires because the fuel is always still okay. But talk about the tires is actually to become much more stubbornness to see this kind of an issue skills to become my affected paralysis. But I know how every 4 racing lobbies since I've come here, and this one is going to be the last one ever yet to be achieved to be well put up on it before the recording begins. But I mean seriously, this race is going to become the world of hurt for having the 3rd round in the Manufacturers Cup or having 10 times amount of tire grip. And there goes Lee into the pit by putting up the medium compound tires. We'll be doing some stop and go or doing a tire change up strategy. Let's see how Lee can actually have to go up and come quicker to be as soon as possible. 12th place to be moving on and stay on track. 13th lap is now currently to be moved forward for only 2 more to go. 10 seconds remaining, and Giacomo is now going to be currently to be going forward up ahead on to position 11 to catch up to TC in the Subaru BRC GT300. 2 of them has entered in Sector 2 after the end of Sector 1. Looks like 2 of them are about to go right at it. Come on, just gonna have to keep going hard right. Splendid work. Team UDRS in Sportec will have to take that ongoing chase, and the pursuit continues on. Many racers have already made it onto the final turn towards the end of the 13th lap. One of the top 3 racers have made it onto the 14th lap, and AC moves on in 3rd place along with Issa, Waxima, and Sully in position 1 and 2. One Canadian racer will have to take that chance to go on until one of them by having the top 5 positions, and number 4 and 5 will have to keep going by having a main struggle to be on the ropes. First hairpin is going to have to go closer to be on the top side of the hill before entering onto sector 2. 4th and 5th place driver is about to have that second hairpin to be on a turn to go down onto the steep hill. There we go, splendid work. Keep at it and stay on the main progression to be on the lineup. More drivers coming in about a few more separate gap distance yet to go remaining. What's left of it? There goes Pete Rice in 3rd place, doing a perfect comeback and stay focused to be on the bronze. I bet he's going well and going faster to have that main push to be well defended during the battle for 3rd place. It goes on to see how Pete Rice might have to do some best further faster times and keep up and doing some main mobility work on the tires. But especially, here goes Lee in position number 13 to be entered in the Subaru WRX Group 3. Team UDRS in Sportec might have to step up and go down onto last place. Come on, just gonna have to take that chance and go for the sacrifice. I know this race is not doing a perfect plan as possible to do as well. So now, here comes the final lap, you guys. Sully is now going to be currently to be moved on in position 1 ever since to be start out in the first lap. He is going much more impressive and incredible to have that tire wear to be doing much more perfect responsibility to stay in the top 3 position. He's about to take that chance and go for the final stretch, and there it is, you guys. Sully is about to have that first place winner in round 3 in the Manufacturers Cup to have a checker flag. That's the ticket. Sully takes the win in round 3 by dominating the B course track in Sardegna. Is now doing a perfect, excellent racing highlight of the week. Good job, Sully. You did a good job and survived the most difficult race in the third round in Season 2. I cannot believe it. This race is going to become very much hardcore and very difficult. I know this race is going to get much more very brutal to see it, by the way, folks. Talk about doing some hard time, hard struggle, and hard strategy to have the tires is going to have to do some more responsibility for the next season. But I know you guys really think that 10 times amount of tires is definitely might become a very tough, serious problem. Well, 13th place for Team Sportec is going to be having a final place to be at the 13th. Yep, looks like that's how what happens, because going too over aggressive by using 2 tires and doing a low percentage for a certain amount of time. But I know this race is going to be very much more harder as it looked to be pleased. So now, here onto the standings for having a final outcome in round 3 at the end of the race. Sully in the Subaru BRZ GT300 takes that excellent podium finish to be in the lead. Second place for Team Chevy is doing a well substitute moment, while Team Sportec is having some tire pressure trouble. Bino ends up to be in 13th place to be in the last position, put me on the world of hurt. Well, glad that's over. I mean, whenever it happens, because it will be caused by using amount of driver rating that will be going down below to be having some hard time to do some going right at it. Well, glad this race is over, because the 10-time tire is very much more pretty intense for all of us. So also goes on for having Sully to take the first position to be on the standings. It's Waxima in second place in the Chevy Corvette C7 Group 3, did a good job onto the silver. And for P-Trice in the Porsche 911 RSR Type 991 17 is doing a bronze position to be in 3rd place. Congratulations to Sully, it's a Waxima, and that one might have a very good exceptional message to leave for P-Trice. Alright, so he left the lobby by a second ago. I'll make sure that I had to leave a message to P-Trice. You did a good job, P-Trice. You did an absolutely good job for doing an ongoing struggle to stay survive and about enter to be in the top 3 position. But also to have a received endorsement respond from Isa_Waxima. You're very welcome, Isa Waxima. You did a good job to be well avenged for having one Corvette racer to stay on top to be entered to be in the top 3. But the 13th place is a very tough time to have that final moment before at the end of the 3rd round. But I'll make sure that the replay will be saved to be part onto the racing highlights to keep that in further notice to see some main examples how to beat the race. To have a 10 times tire is going to have to keep much more responsibility to go passive and much moderation. What a tough race, you guys. The 3rd round in Season 2 for the Gran Turismo World Series Manufacturers Cup as part of the 2022 series at the B course layout in Sardegna Road Track for the Group 3 class. Turns out to become much more intense by adding up with a 10 times amount of tire wear for the hard, medium, and soft racing compound tires in the racing category. But I mean, it's going to have to take some more attempts and few chances to climb up onto the top 5 position whenever it takes to stay focused and go well competitive to be on the most difficult challenge in the 2nd season. But also for tomorrow, the final race of Toyota Gazoo Racing GT Cup is going to take place to be at the Windmills for the GR Yaris RC High Performance 1st edition 2020. But now, the 3rd round is over, moving on in the 4th round by the scheduled date on September 3rd, 2022 for the next race. We're going in to be in WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca for the first part in the Group 4 category. Let's have a good check on the event schedule earlier at the start of the video. Now we have round 5 to take place to be at Kyoto Driving Park Yamagita, but not in Blue Moon Bay Speedway to be on the infield B. But good thing that putting up a full course layout to be part as a complex to be in Yamagita in Kyoto Driving Park, you guys. Just wait to see how it goes after Laguna Seca in round 4 until going to be scheduled later on in September 10. Alright, looks like gonna have to get ready to wrap this up before at the end of the video. And no roulette ticket at this moment, you guys. But I'll have to make sure to fill out for only a single day by having a daily workout before the next day until now. Thank you for watching on my video in Gran Turismo 7, folks. I hope you enjoyed. Just go subscribe to my YouTube channel for a like, comment, and click the bell for notifications on upcoming content videos if you'd like to see. And don't forget to follow me on any social media platforms like Deepnet Art, Instagram, GT Planet, Twitter, and more to see for my own image artwork like UDRS liveries, Total Drama fan art with car liveries, and more whenever you're welcome at any time. I'll be see you guys next time on Gran Turismo 7, and I look forward to see you again in the next video. Keep on racing, stay clean.